Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Total War Warhammer 3 has obviously put everyone on the hype train. Many people are speculating as to what are the next possible races, next possible lords, and so on. But I want to divert from that just a little bit and talk about some mechanics that should, in theory, be implemented in Total War Warhammer 3. Today I want to talk specifically about characters that should be able to fly. I'm of course not referring to characters that should have flying mounts and so on, but instead characters who have attached wings. Or just generally ones that could hover. You see, on the tabletop, some characters were able to fly, and this gave them an edge for their faction. While it might not be the most impressive mechanic, it did help with, say for example, flanking, or just getting some spells out. Sometimes you have characters like Malagor the Dark Omen, which is generally quite squishy. You obviously don't want him in the front line, and that's because, well, he'll just get ripped to pieces if he gets trapped. Of course, Creative Assembly have worked around this by making him unnaturally fast, but he should be able to fly. With regards to the tabletop, a popular tactic for Malagor was to put him in a unit of harpies, and then make your way around or behind your enemy to be able to cast spells and eventually charge in the flank or the rear. A tactic such as this was very popular back in the day, and it wasn't just with Malagor, but with a multitude of different characters. Many of said characters will likely be seen in Total War Warhammer 3, either as generic lords or named legendary lords or heroes. A perfect example of this would be Valkyr the Bloody, a character which is very much requested by the fanbase. It's likely we will possibly see her in the future, and it would be a shame if she would not be able to fly. On the tabletop, she was there to do damage to enemy units, as expected, but the character herself was fantastic in challenges, which is more or less the equivalent of duels in the Total War series. Now, I'm not suggesting that we will get duels in Total War Warhammer 3, but this would mean that the character herself would be considered a duelist, and would most likely be very good at sniping out enemy characters. If she, as a small single entity, could fly in and do her damage, well, then she could probably escape quite quickly too. Something like that will come to the benefit of Khorne-based factions, as it's not just Valkyr who is able to fly. Bloodthirsters, which we've seen on the trailer, are known to have wings, and of course they're able to fly using them. A flying lord character, especially for Khornate factions, will be quite beneficial. The lack of magic will be very obvious here, so having a big lord character being able to fly around at a decent speed and also do damage will more or less make the playing field a little bit more even. Of course, he'll still be a prime target for ranged units and so on, but if you're dealing with a bunch of juggernauts in your front line, and a bunch of Chaos Warhounds already holding the ranged units in place, there's still the possibility of it being able to be very beneficial in combat as a flying unit. Bear in mind, if the trailer is an accurate representation of how large they will actually be, well, they're going to be a target regardless, so flying or not, they're still going to be a prime target for spells and ranged. That's the argument I've commonly seen against people wanting them to be able to fly, but a Sisters of Avalon Doomstack is still gonna take it out before you actually get into combat, unless you can keep them busy. Again, looking at some of the larger demons, we've of course got the Lord of Change. The Lord of Change itself is a spellcaster. We've already been used to using them in Total War Warhammer, as I believe you are able to recruit one as Norska should you max out your affinity with Tzeentch. We've seen the Chaos faction use another one, and a lot of mods have also made Lords of Change playable through other means. Again, Lords of Change are quite fast. They're proficient spellcasters and so on, but you have to take into account that the moment they get caught, they kinda just die. It's a Tzeentch demon, they're not supposed to be durable. In fact, they get shredded very easily rather quickly. Them being able to fly like they would on the tabletop, not just being extremely fast, will make sure that they're easy to move around, and thus they won't be slaughtered so quick. Nothing is more annoying than losing your lord very early into a battle, especially if it's going to be your main spellcaster. There aren't really that many characters which would have the ability to fly as a baseline mechanic. Others already implemented would of course be not only Malagor, but also Ariel, the Queen of Athaloran. However, she only really hovers, and it's not like she needs to fly. She's actually perfectly fine being able to be on foot. But the ability to be able to fly for certain lords and heroes might actually change up the playstyle a little bit, especially for the Demons of Chaos, who will need to be as unique as possible. It's not like they'll also be permanently stuck in the air, as sometimes you might want those characters to be on foot with the rest of your armies, and I'm not referring to the fact that they'll need to get into combat to be on foot. Before working on this video, I've spoken to some modders about the possibility of this as a mechanic, and they've said that it could indeed be possible. All it really needs is a basic trigger, something like an ability on the Lord portrait, very basic at that, something which will allow you to start your battle and you'll be able to choose if you want your Lord to fly or not. As your battle rages on, you might want to change up your playstyle for some different tactics and so on, which would then allow you to make your character take off into flight or just land and join up with your forces. It's likely that if Creative Assembly don't implement this officially, we'll most likely see the modders have a crack at it themselves. However, I do think that this should be an official feature. A mechanic such as this will change up your playstyle and it would just be kind of fun, won't it? I'm not saying that this is the most important mechanic that needs to be added in. There are of course a few others which are, well, let's be honest, a lot more important, such as a diplomacy system, one very similar to that of Troy at the very least, and stuff like proper siege mechanics and so on, and we'll be covering all those in later dates, but this one is just the one that struck out to me recently, as I've been covering Demons of Chaos as of late, and I've realized that a lot of these characters do have the ability to fly on the tabletop, and just no ability whatsoever in Total War Warhammer. But what do you guys think about this possible mechanic, and would you see it being implemented in a different way? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.